this is Kim Spiedick from 10 Sigma. Welcome to episode 57 of Transition Tuesday. Today I'm going to talk about transition agency linkages. This topic was suggested by many people. Sheila from Iowa, Cindy and Linda from Illinois, Elizabeth from Texas, and Stephanie from Georgia. Thank you for your topic suggestion. Right now I'm going to switch over to a short slide presentation to share this information.
Transition agency linkages. Before we talk specifically about agency linkages, let's first have a short review of a transition IEP. The IEP must include postsecondary goals based on age-appropriate transition assessments for training and education, employment, and when appropriate, independent living. There must be annual goals that relate to the post-secondary goals. The IEP must also include transition services, including courses of study, which is the coordinated set of activities for the student. If you need more information about the entire transition services section of the IEP, please watch the episode 55 Transition Tuesday video. So within the transition services are the agency linkages. These agencies are federal, state, or local organizations that provide services and/or supports to the public. There are two main purposes of agency linkages. The first one is to coordinate a successful transition program for the student while they're in school in the areas of instruction, employment, community experience, related services, post-secondary training, daily living if appropriate, adult living, and functional vocational evaluation if appropriate. What this really means is that some of the students' transition services could be provided by and/or paid for by an outside agency that has been coordinated by the school district to work with the IEP team. The second major purpose of agency linkages is to facilitate the student's movement from school activities to post-school activities, so the student will continue to receive what they need as an adult to reach their post-secondary goals. These linkages are in the areas of post-secondary education, vocational education, integrated employment, supported employment, continuing and adult education, adult services, independent living, and community participation. Here's a visual of the continuation of supports and services for a student with disabilities. At school age, there is a transition plan and an IEP. At both the school and adult ages, there is agency linkages. And at the adult age, the students reach their post-secondary goals. Let's talk a little bit about entitlement versus eligibility. This is something that's very important for the parents and the students to understand. At school age, services are based on entitlement under IDEA. The school is responsible for initiating requests for services and maintaining contact with outside agencies. At adult age, once the student leaves the school system, graduates from high school, or ages out, their services are based on eligibility, availability, and funding. Many times the student may be put on a waiting list for housing, for example, group homes. So that's why it's important at the school age that these contacts with outside agencies have been initiated so that they can be put on these waiting lists and there is no lag time while they're waiting for services. Also, at the adult age, the student and/or the family is responsible for initiating requests for services and maintaining contact. For specific information on IDEA, ADA, and Section 504, please watch the episode 19 Transition Tuesday video. There are two different ways that a school may link to an agency for a student. The first way is through referrals. The school provides information about appropriate agency services to the parent and/or student for them to contact the agency, and then if possible, the school provides specific contact information. Some different ways the school could provide some information to families and students about agencies would be through transition fairs, speakers or videos, PTA meetings, newsletters, and emails. The second way the school may link to an agency is to make contact with the agency. So the school would use the student's transition services, determine the agencies that may be responsible for providing or paying for services. Then the school would need to get a consent form signed by the parents or an adult student that a representative from the agency will be invited to attend the IEP meeting. Then the school would contact the agency to invite them to the meeting, and the school would follow up to ensure agency participation in the meeting. A couple of reminders are that without consent, schools cannot commit other agencies to provide or pay for service. And usually after an agency commits verbally to services for a student, there are interagency agreements. These agreements generally talk about the population in which the agency services, the goals of the agreement, and the responsibility of the participating agency or agencies. So where can you start with finding government and local agencies and organizations in your area? You can start first with the agencies the school has already linked up with. You could also do an internet search by opening up a browser and then in Google or any search engine, type in agency linkages for students with disabilities in and fill in your state. Or you could type agency linkages for adults with disabilities in and fill in your state. Another way to find agencies in your area is talk to your school staff, like the school social worker, counselor, or psychologist. You can also look at local business directories. Here's a list of some agencies that the school may consider linking with. Supplemental Security Income. Just a note about SSI. Some students with disabilities under the age of 18 have applied for and already are receiving SSI benefits. Once the student turns 18 or leaves the school system, is aged out, the Social Security Administration evaluates the student's disability on their definition of adult disabilities to see if the person will continue to receive benefits. Social Security Disability Insurance. This is different than SSI. It's an insurance program that assists people with serious medical conditions or injury, or people that have hardships and are not able to work. Medicare and Medicaid. Division of Vocational Rehabilitation Services. The state's Division of Disability Services. Division of Developmental Disabilities. Deaf and blind visually impaired. Department of Human Services. Career centers or job centers. Center for Independent Living. Transportation. Behavioral health and mental health agencies. Legal aid and disability support programs in some colleges and universities. Again, this is just a partial list of agencies, but it should help you get started. For today's bonus, I'll be sending you 5 great resources that include lists of agencies that provide services for employment, independent living, training, education, financial, deaf and hard of hearing, assistive technology, and so on. Also, a link to a sample letter to agency representatives and an overview of agency linkages.
Thank you for watching the video. I hope you use this information to help your families and students find agencies to help them as they enter adulthood. Be sure to check your email for the bonus we just sent over. If this is the first time you've ever seen an episode of Transition Tuesday, click the link below to receive the bonus. Be sure to like and share the video and leave your comment or suggestion for a future episode of Transition Tuesday. Have a great week. See you next Tuesday.